Hello guys, this is KTB Vlogs or TBC Production here, back to a new video here on my channel. As you see by title, of course, as of today, actually I'm going to be doing another book discussion, I guess, type of review, of course. And of course, as you see by title, is actually going to be on my book series, An Evil Thing, and we will be actually going over the third book in the series, as you see by the video cover, of course, thumbnail, and all that. So today we'll be discussing An Evil Thing 3, Dark Company. As I did show y'all this book in the video I did, I think back in, I think it was February or March, and it was on, of course, the previous one, and that was The Lost Son. So this video, I actually was supposed to have done the video like when I did the Lost Son video, but of course during that time I was actually doing promoting the book series on Amazon and doing all that stuff. So now finally, since the book been out since March of this year, I decided to go ahead and make the video. So of course, it kind of makes sense of doing it for uh, since it's been out for a long time. So, yeah, so we're actually going to be doing I'm going to go over the story, how the story is, and do all of that for this video, just like I did for the previous two books, first book and second book. So, let's dive into a course of what this story is about, of course, and that's the reason why you guys are watching, is that An Evil Thing 3, Dark Company, actually is about a organization that actually is kind of very powerful in the world. Actually, power of over like organizations of businesses, and actually claims everything of what the person makes or how much they make and everything. So as you see on this cover, you see um, the main antagonist for the story. And this guy is Shin Lee. And I have to say, he's actually one of my best villains in the story. Of course, the name kind of gives you like, is he like Japanese or Chinese? But of course, yes, he is Asian. He's or Asian American because I guess his maybe one of his parents probably was a mix, or you never know, he probably was Filipino. So of course, as for Shin Lee's character, he basically is the antagonist of the story, and how he fits in, of course, as I will dive in now, is that the Carlton browser server that's in an Evil Thing where Trey Alexander works at is actually making more profit more than the Dark Company is, since Nick Carlton actually was his business is basically off of, I guess, the power from Shin Lee. And of course, when Shin Lee sees Nick is doing better than he is, kind of makes him more of a, I guess, jealousy type. He actually plans to actually kill him, and of course, shut down Carlton browser server and basically take back his his assets and basically try to get money out of it. So, so as in this story, we actually see a bunch of new characters you guys will see along the way in the story. We actually see a character that's associated with Gabriella in the story. Um, family, of course, family. And of course, we actually see a lot of history of something with Trey, and of course, the Henson family curse fully going into the story and how it kind of makes it connect to Shin Lee in some cases. So, Trey Alexander, how he is in this story. In this one, he's actually morally mature. He's actually kind of grew since he had that great character development in The Lost Son. And of course, Triton's in his story as well, but it's just a little bit, just brief. And basically, Trey is kind of growing up. He has a family now. Now he's in the mix of this organization trying to, of course, get him as well. And the reason behind it, of course, Gabriella's death from the first book. And of course, has something to do with Shin Lee's backstory. And kind of makes sense why this man now wants to attack Trey Alexander. So, yeah, so it's kind of a lot going on in this story, and I think this was one of the longest stories I did do. And now we are going to the history of this how I did this book. Actually, Dark Company was actually one of the books that I kind of did not really write a lot for. And actually, it was ideas that uh, I guess what ChatGPT did, and two ideas, of course, that were kind of from the source of the first book. Victor Henson, of course, I'll tell you one of the new characters here. Victor Henson is Gabriella's older brother, and of course, half brother to Brian Roberts. So, of course, like Brian, that in the second book, basically told Trey that he is Gabriella's half brother. And so, of course, it actually has a lot to do with him. And of course, him trying to, he's still associated with the Dark Company. And of course, his character has a great character development too. They actually are a couple of new characters, of course, in the story. Some might surprise you in this one. And of course, actually like how this story ends. It has a great ending, even though it's not like this is the last story of the series. Like, no. But the two ideas that were actually used for this book, of course, Victor Henson's role. Originally, he was meant to have been in the first book, but he wasn't. And the lawsuit, of course, of Carlton Browser server, originally was meant to have been in the Lost Son, but of course, it wasn't. And so I just basically combined those two ideas and wrote the story, and that's what I did. And I have to say, this one is a great one to read as well. And I think it would definitely be great to go along with the other two books, especially Shin Lee's character is great in this story. And even though something bad happens to him in the end, he might come back. You never know. So that's why his character was great. I mean, imagine you seeing this guy and he's basically evil, evil, and he's basically is wants to take over the world and all this stuff, and it's actually kind of a shocking story to follow, and it's kind of based off of a nightmare I had of a person coming after me and has a whole army of in the story he has an army of super elite soldiers, like I guess they're like AI robots, but they look like people, but they're like super soldiers. They will like look like real life people. So it's kind of like this guy is kind of like if we actually had like of course, a tyrant, of course, as of today, what's going on in the world today. Yeah. So in some cases, I guess, I don't know, every time I write a story or think of a story, a lot of things come true sometimes. So, guys, yeah, so as I say of this story, it was actually one of the great ones I done. And I have to say, Dark Company would be great to enjoy. And I believe, as of this one was the last one that actually had a Kindle, even though I don't really care for the Kindle version at all. That's why I prefer to get the actual, you actually get the actual book. And this one costs more because of, I guess, how long the story was. As this one was actually 138 pages. It's actually one of the longest stories currently in the series right now. As of the next one is actually um, t- 2 pages longer than this one, and then the one after it's 150 pages, I believe, and the next one after that one will be 190 pages. So, as this one concludes an Evil Thing saga, so it's kind of the conclusion of that trilogy. So, from, of course, The Lost Son, and An Evil Thing, this one concludes the An Evil Thing saga. So, books 1 through 3 is basically like a series to themselves, and they conclude the trilogy of that story arc. Since this one kind of paves the way to the next saga and actually starts a new saga, because the name Dark Company is basically going to be the next story arc that follows after this one. And of course, I guess I can go ahead and show you the next one that I will be doing a video for, and that would be Return of the Dark Company. So, yeah. This one's going to be great too. I actually like this one as well. And basically connects to this one, and it's basically, I guess, sequel. And I love the cover. It looks great. It looks amazing. And it actually has something to do with a new character in the series. As some people kind of think, is that Gabriella's eyes? I guess no. They look like it could be her, but it's not. It's actually a character that was mentioned throughout the story, and you probably see their characters finally in the story. So yeah, so this one's gonna be great to actually enjoy. So I guess I go to my final thoughts of Dark Company. So what I think of the Dark Company, as I say, this was actually one of the best stories that I did, and I'm kind of glad that I did uh, a great job with this one, especially since really it wasn't really a lot. It was actually one of the ones I actually had a lot put into. Unlike the first two stories, they were stuff that I did thought of out of my head, and this one was just two uh, scrapped ideas, and it basically put together this, and that's what it actually was. As some people say, oh, you used ChatGPT to write your book, you did this, you didn't really write the story. I'm like, I did. All I did is just wrote each chapter and the characters that are in it and the action and the scenes and what's going on. That's what I did. This story actually has 15 chapters, I think, and of course has epilogue. So it's not it's I kind of think the story could have been long, but I wish it was. I kind of see it to be like probably 150 or 170 pages. But as I say of it, a good length to a book, 138 pages, actually pretty simple, and you can read this in a day. So it's not like I read a big book. But of course, future books that we'll be planning on doing will actually, I hope, as I say, to like reach like a book that has 200 pages, which currently I actually am. Actually, one of them did reach 200 pages, but we won't talk about that one yet until that one comes out, of course. So, Dark Company kind of gave me that hope that maybe one day I'll actually have a longer book. And of course, Return of the Dark Company actually kind of gave me that power boost since it's 140 pages for that one, 142, I think. And the following one, Revenge of the Dark Company, I do have it too, but I forgot to pull it off my shelf. But of course, that one's 150 pages. And then the sixth one is not out yet, but it's actually going to be coming out in February of next year. And of the Dark Company, that one will actually have 190 pages. So I guess I'm kind of paving the way of making a longer book, and I would actually have a good story pacing and good story flow. So that's what I kind of like about this of writing the stories and actually putting it together, and it kind of makes it worth to actually check out. And it's a great story from beginning to end. Just like I said about The Lost Son, that one, and of course the first book. Uh, they basically it keeps you going and keeps you reading, and that's what I like about this series. And I'm kind of glad this series became what it is right now. Um, Only thing I actually, I guess, kind of conclude this video since this book concludes the An Evil Thing saga, because the third book concludes this saga, is that the first book will actually have a re-release version soon, and that will be coming out next year for the anniversary of the series. And so, as I'm kind of thinking, maybe one day, maybe Dark Company will have one, and maybe The Lost Son will have one. But the reason behind why the re-release is getting for the first book is happening is that soon I'll actually plan on making a film for the book for the first book, An Evil Thing, and I actually have clips of it on my main channel, TBC Production, of some of the scenes. And of course, I actually have I've been doing releasing my music album Legacy, of course, and actually kind of glad some people actually liking the songs I did put out. The songs that I actually had put out were were meant to be like singles, I guess, but they're not. I'm not planning on doing as singles at all. So I just released the 10 songs that's out right now because it's going to be 16 tracks when it gets complete, and that that will be on that playlist on my main channel. So, but for the re-release version of An Evil Thing, actually, if you look at one of the music songs titled Gabriella, the picture, of course, you do see the original book cover verse. Then you see the actual re-release picture of the Gabriella song. the Gabriella, Trey and Gabriella on the cover, and that actually would be the re-release picture for the book. And the book size actually is not going to be 6 by 9. It actually will be 5 by 8. So it's going to get a re-release size. Like if you, I guess like almost like the size of I guess the like Goosebump book size. So that's why I kind of instead of having it in a 6 by 9, I would actually have it in a 5 by 8, and it will have that re-release cover on it. And I might have, and then it's coming with a bonus story. There's actually the original short story that went with the first book. That was meant to be that what involved for the first book. So I actually have a lot of plans for this book series, and been doing writing for the other books as well. And of course, I kind of like that I'm actually bringing something to life that I actually wanted to make ever since I thought of the series. And it's cool holding the books in my hand and looking at them, seeing them come to life now, and it's basically like a gift. And that's what I kind of like about that. And I hope you guys enjoy the book series a lot, and I hope it actually makes you want to check out the other ones that's coming along and that's coming out soon. So as right now, currently, the first 5 books are out right now for the main book series. So you have, like I said, you have An Evil Thing. You have An Evil Thing 2, The Lost Son. And of course, you have Dark Company. And you have Return of the Dark Company. And I guess I can pause real quick and get Revenge. So I guess you guys can see that one. So let me pause it real quick. Okay, here you guys go. Here is Revenge of the Dark Company that I did mention about earlier, of course. So these were the 5 books that actually are available right now for the series. And of course, one last one, of course, that did get published this month, of course, and it's actually Shadows of Embrace. But of course, I will, I guess, make a video about that series soon. And Shadows of Embrace actually is the origin story for Gabriella Henson. And you probably will see it if you guys type in Shadows of Embrace on Amazon. And it's there. It's actually the first book, standalone book, that even though it's part of An Evil Thing, but it's actually a standalone book instead of a, like, call it An Evil Thing. You know, it's not, even though it's connected to An Evil Thing, but it actually is the origin story of Gabriella. So you finally can see how her story was before the events of the first book. So that's why I would say for that. So that's why I went inside to get this one off my shelf. So yeah, this one's gonna be great too. So I will say, like I said, these upcoming 2 or the next arc, I guess, are going to be the best one. I actually say this one's going to be a lot of little action and adventure, while this one still kind of keeps some of the horror and still has some adventure, a little adventure and action, because the characters are doing something in the story and trying to, I guess, stop the Dark Company again. but this time they actually are doing it in like a adventure and action like style. So that's what I like about this one, this upcoming one that I'll be doing a video on. And I have to say this one's going to be great. But Revenge, I think will be the one I actually will kind of go with the most, and that's what I hope for. So I had to, show y'all all the books, so it kind of makes sense of what the other ones are going to be. So, like I said, that's basically it for the video. Of course, talking about Dark Company. Even though I showed you guys all the other books, hope you guys check out the other ones. Of course, I actually have the link of the books in this video description. You guys can go straight to Amazon and they're there. And that's basically all you have to do. And of course, An Evil Thing is a great series to follow. It's a great series to watch. Watch it grow and seeing it increase every time I release a book. It's kind of nice seeing people discovering them.